All right, we are recording. So good evening. Just some housekeeping items as usual. If there's anything super noisy going on in your background, if you can keep yourselves on mute until you have something that you would like to say or ask. That applies to me too, with my animals that decided to act up on our last Zoom call. So we have to keep that in mind. For those of you who don't know me, I don't know if there's anybody here who doesn't know me, but I know we haven't seen Carol in a while, so I will reintroduce myself. I'm Cheryl Sanchez. I'm the founder of the Networks organization and author of The Journey of Success, Even When Success is Just Getting Out of Bed. And for those of you who are new or returning to our events, the Networks is a network of leaders, forward thinkers, and entrepreneurs who have joined together to realize success and to create and foster positive social impact. If you're interested in learning more about the Networks or our members, you could visit our website at thenetworks.org or find us on social media. Welcome to our Spring Forward virtual networking event. This month, we wanted to celebrate spring and focus on connecting and reconnecting and talking about the importance of relationships. Spring is a season of fresh starts and new beginnings, and it's also a great time to take a look at the goals that we may have set this year. And it's also a great time to evaluate our relationships, our business and personal relationships. And the Networks has always had a focus on our relationships. And relationships is one of the elements of success that I talk about in my book. Professional relationships related to networking can frequently be short-term and transactional, and I know you all know what I'm talking about. It can be an exchange of business cards, an elevator pitch, a what can you do for me right now type interaction, and that's not what we're here for. We've always believed that long-term, mutually beneficial relationships are essential, even in business. And a lot of us that have stayed connected, we've been connected for, it's over 15 years now that we've been doing this, and that's huge. It's so important. And that means getting to know people, connecting, reconnecting, checking in, learning about what each other's doing and what you want to do, having conversations where you're actually listening to what the other person is saying, because you can learn so much that way. And that's what we're here to do today. And that's what the Networks is always about. So we're going to kick it off with some insight from Maymi, and then we'll do a little virtual networking where we can connect and reconnect with those that we've met previously. So Jay, you want to kick it off and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Maymi. Oh, can you guys hear me okay? All right. So Maymi, just having some fun time with some of the members here before we officially got started. I'm originally from New York. I live now in North Texas. I've been out here, it'll be 3 years now, and in July. I am an author, published 10 times. I have a radio talk show out here in Dallas. It's doing very, very well. I'm also a national speaker. I'm a sales psychologist and a subliminal selling expert. Been doing that for quite a while. So usually people end up buying something that they don't need from me, and that's pretty cool. So. Some of you might buy some tonight. You don't even know. Yeah. So that's who I am.
So Jay, you want to talk to us a little bit about networking and relationships and community and how important all of that is?
You know, the truth is, I have to be honest that the successes that I've had since I was 13 years old, I've been an entrepreneur, I've been in sales. It's funny, I was recording a course that I have coming up that maybe if I have time, I'll mention it later on. But I have a course that I'm excited about that I'll be releasing in about 60 days. It's called a sales mastery course. And one of the things I was talking about that course was that I've never I'm 51 years old. I know I'm looking, but I'm 51 years old. And I've only had a job for 13 months since I was able to start working and generating an income really since I was 13, but really having a sort of a job or being of age to work. I've only had a job, and that was when I was 22 to 23, and I was a social worker for 13 months around there. That's the only time I ever took a paycheck at all. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always made money, pulling money out of thin air, which is what an entrepreneur does. You pull money out of thin air. There's no guarantees. I've never lived a life of stable paychecks, security of every 2 weeks, never. And I think back, and sometimes I think that was crazy. I mean, that's crazy, right? But I can attest the fact that I've been able to do this and do it well enough that I've successfully built a couple of different companies and never had a reason to go get a job. Not that having a job is bad, but that's just not me. And I can attribute that to two things: being creative and innovative with ideas, but those ideas and that creativity falls flat if you don't have any relationships that you've built with people that can help you succeed, that can help you thrive, that people can see the value in what you're doing and sort of lock arms with you because you build good relationship with them. They believe in you, they trust you, they want to see you succeed. The best ideas in the world are typically going to fall flat to an extent if you don't have people that you've developed good relationships with. Cheryl is a good idea of this. Cheryl and I connected maybe on LinkedIn. I didn't even know how we connected, Cheryl, about 2 years ago, right? Something like that.
That seems to happen all the time to me, is I never know where the initial connection happened, and then we become great friends and colleagues for forever.
Yeah. So I honestly, I don't remember where you and I met, but I think it probably was like LinkedIn. I think you were stalking me or something like that. I'm not sure.
Hey, it worked.
But we connected, and then we got together, and we just had this immediate bond that we forged, and we've stayed connected. We are intentional about staying connected. But I can say that about every single person that I've met when I came out to Texas. I didn't know anybody when I came to Texas. I knew nobody. I knew two people when I came to Texas. One was my wife, and one was the guy who ran an office out here. And one of them didn't like me. So thankfully, the guy who ran the office liked me, right? Thankfully. So, but since then, I've been able to develop relationships with people that I've met out here immediately. And that's the only reason why I believe that not even 3 years into it, I've done so much out here that people are amazed that here comes a guy from New York to Texas, doesn't even have that Texas drawl, and he's just running rampant. Why? Building solid relationships that are mutually beneficial. So let me give you 4 things that I can encourage you to consider when you are embracing this relationship mindset. And guys, the reality is you probably all have done this. You live this. This is nothing new for many of all of you. You're seasoned in your understanding of business and developing a good contacts. But one thing that I was when I was out here, and I mentioned this just now, I was very intentional about building relationships. There's a difference between having a contact and having a friend. There's a difference between having an acquaintance and having a partner, right? I want friends. I want partners. I want relationships. I want people that beyond whatever we may do transactionally, they see us as having a relationship that goes beyond the transaction. That's how you know you're building a relationship with someone, where if there's nothing that you do together in any business degree, you can still call each other friends. You can still have each other's back. So you have to be intentional to build that relationship. The second thing you have to be is authentic. Here's the thing I see too much today. I see too much fake and phoniness. Do you?
Yes.
I see too much of it. With social media, it's all over the place. Mm-hmm. With fake, phony contacts and connections on LinkedIn, it's all over the place. There is something that I think has gone missing in building authentic, genuine, sincere relationships. We live in a day and age that if you're not going to do something for me within a few conversations, I don't need to talk to you anymore. That's not a relationship. That's not authentic. And by the way, people will remember that. I'll give you an example of this. My wife tells me all the time. My wife is very supportive, but she doesn't have that entrepreneurial mind, and that's okay. Not everybody does. But one of the things that she always says to me is, why you bother with that person? And this is people that I may have had issues with years ago. Maybe they didn't buy from me. They didn't do business with me. Maybe they were takers. They were not givers. My wife says, why do you bother with those guys? I said, because building a relationship, sometimes if you're good to people, it circles back because you never know. And if you're in something for the long haul, this is important. If you're in something for the long haul, then you need to make sure that you are there when the haul comes back around. Because it does sometimes come back around in a different way that it can benefit you. I've had so many people that I've re-engaged with, that I've rekindled a relationship with, because I was good to them in the beginning and they remembered me. That 10 years later, they've either joined me in business again, or they do business with me, or they send me a referral because I was genuinely, authentically good to them. So be authentic. Don't be fake and phony. That serves nobody. The other thing I would tell you is, the last two things real quick, is be supportive of each other. But let me say this, be selflessly supportive of each other. Don't support someone just because you are hoping they return the favor. Now they should, right? That's a relationship. But sometimes people don't. Sometimes that's just the way it is, right? Be supportive of somebody else's success selfishly. In other words, with nothing that you're expecting in return. A lot of that today has gone out the window. You do for me, I do for you. That doesn't work in building an authentic relationship. That doesn't work in building a supportive relationship. And let me give you the two things you got to be most supportive with someone. Be most supportive with someone with your time. With your time. If Cheryl were to call me right now, or if she reached out to me and she says, Jay, tomorrow I want to talk to you about something. You know what I would say? If I got nothing major happening, I would say, sure, what do you got? And we've done that already. Because I'm support. I want to build a relationship that's authentic and that's real. I want to support her. I don't know what she's going to talk to me about. It doesn't matter. I want to give her time, and then I want to be supportive with feedback, and I want to be supportive with encouragement, and then I want to be supportive in helping her succeed and whatever she wants to succeed in. I want to be supportive. So be authentic, be intentional, be supportive, and be encouraging. That's how you build good, solid business relationships that can go beyond the borders of business. And I think the return on that investment of energy will be greater than if you just keep it straight and narrow. It's just business, nothing else attached to it. I think you will shortchange the potential of what that can become down the road. If you pour more into them, then eventually that'll come right back to you as well. I'm a testimony of that. I live by that. So I hope that helps open up this conversation about relationships.
Yeah, and I think from a well-rounded perspective, relationships are helpful not just for whatever the business goals may be. It's whatever your goals may be, because the relationship itself is supportive in whatever it is that you're trying to do. And we all have challenges. We're all talking about, the energy this past week has been draining, or, there's crisis in the world and we're tired and overwhelmed and all this other kind of stuff. But having supportive relationships, yes, they help us with our business and professional goals, but they also just help us each other to grow and survive and thrive. Those are Jay's words, surviving and thriving. So I think it's just really, really important all around. And that's kind of what we've always been about here. And Jay, do you want to tell us something maybe we don't know about you, and something you want us to know, like what you're working on, something that we can help be supportive of?
Yeah, guys, I tell you, considering that, so if you haven't had a chance to tune into any of the radio show episodes that I've sent out, some of the folks that I'm having on the show really are coming to the table with fantastic, brilliant life experience, and I've learned so much. I think if I didn't do one more episode, just what I've been able to extract from these guests is the stuff that I would have had to have lived 5, 6, 7 lifetimes to meet those kind of people, that I can draw from them just a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of what's going on in their heads. So these folks that have come in on the show are just fantastic. So I would encourage you to listen to the program and share it. But the other thing is, I also have, not to mention, my latest book is coming out actually. Let me just share my screen here. Actually, I don't think I can share my screen, but that's okay. Yeah, I can't share my screen because you're the host. But I'll email this to you, Cheryl.
What's the name of your talk show?
It's the J. Maymi Talk Show. So a very original title. It's a very original title. Okay, the J. Maymi Talk Show. It's a radio station on here, 570 AM, KLIF. But you can hear it anywhere because you can go to cliff.com, KLIF.com. Listen live on Sundays at 11, or actually 12 Eastern. But at my website, the jmaymitalkshow.com, you can catch all the archive sections there.
And you can definitely drop the links in the chat so that we could pick it up from there.
Right, that's a good idea. But I'll send out the book cover of my 10th book to Cheryl. It'll probably be available in 2 weeks. It's a literary work, very, very different style of writing. But it's one of these books that I think will be pieces you can hand to others, because it's a book that's comprised of action-stoking and thought-provoking quotes and phrases with explanations of each that really go deep. So it's one of those things that I've had my daughter and my son read it, and they don't read anything, and they loved it. So I'm excited about that. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. As soon as I get it officially launched, I'll let Cheryl know, and that would be a great way to help spread the word on that particular literary work.
Absolutely. Does anyone have any questions for Jay?
Yes, I do. Jay, what is the name of your new book?
Thriveology. Thriveology.
Oh, Thriveology. Okay. Okay, thank you. I did listen to one of your shows for the first time, and I was really impressed because you had one of my favorite person on, Nora Comstock, the founder of Las Comadres,
yeah.
and I'm a comadre. I've been with them for almost over 15 years.
Wow.
So we just celebrated our 21st anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was a big deal. And yeah, you had her on, and I really enjoyed that show. And so it was pretty good. I did enjoy the show, and I will continue to listen.
Well, I haven't sent out the recording, but if you like Dr. Nora, you like Dr. Ana Nogales. Ana Nogales is also a comadre from California. We actually talked about, she's an award-winning superstar Latina. She's an award.
Yes, I've heard of her. Yes, Ana, you having a segment with her?
Yeah, I just did it 2 weeks ago. I have to send a recording. She was great.
Oh,
She's
great.
on Univision. But we talked about domestic violence and human sex trafficking. So it wasn't like one of those motivational episodes, but it was about, hey, we got to address these issues. And she's a major award-winning advocate on domestic violence. And I learned some things about domestic violence, especially during a pandemic. Sad. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Monica had to drop off because she's also involved with Las Comadres, and she's also on the board of Hope's Door, which is a organization locally here in New York that assists women with domestic violence issues.
Well,
wow.
That episode was deep, and you know, there's a dark side to the pandemic that's not talked about.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with jobs. And we were talking about that. That was pretty alarming.
And I want to say too that, you know, relationship building, again, it's not just for, you know, certain transactional things like sales or, you know, growing a business or something like that. It also helps with causes like this. So it helps us to learn about things that we may not otherwise have known, and finding out what the passions are of the people that we're talking to and how we could help them. So it's all about learning and growing and, you know, doing our part to make the world a better place. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but that's exactly what it is. Did anyone else have any?
With someone from one of my networking groups out of Britain who's working with domestic violence. It is an international challenge.
Absolutely.
And accelerated very much throughout the pandemic with everybody in close quarters, feeling
Mhm.
additional stress.
Oh, yeah.
It is really
Oh,
a
yeah.
sad story.
And it's something that it's not being talked about because it's the ugly side. And I think as a society, we're so tired of the ugliness already. We're talking about low energy just a little few minutes ago. Add that to the conversation about this darker side of the pandemic, and the energy level go right in the toilet, you know?
Yeah. And it crosses
Oh,
all
yeah.
economic and
Oh, yeah.
educational
Oh, yeah.
barriers. It's
Yeah.
not limited. A lot of people think it's a low income
No.
problem, but it is prevalent throughout.
Nope. So that was a great show. So I'll get that out to you, Cheryl. And then, Cheryl, I appreciate you giving me some time to speak to open up the event tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll share that. And I think that, you know, what you just said really serves as a reminder that we want to make sure that we're also talking to each other about these issues that are important to us and educating and sharing and seeing how we can help each other to make a difference in these things. So it's important. So not everything we talk about is rah, rah and and motivational and positive. We have real conversations too. And that all leads right back into the whole building relationships. Relationships are not 100% positive all of the time. There's ups and downs and it's how we learn from each other and grow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay. Did anybody have any other questions for Jay? All right. I think what we're going to do is something a little different today is just go around. I know Monica had to drop off. Not sure what everybody else's schedule is like. I know there was a lot of conflicts for today, but for those of us that are here, I wanted to kind of just go around and some of us know each other, some don't. And for each of us just to say something that will help us to get to know each other better, maybe something that we don't already know about you, something that's important to you, something that you're working on, something that you want help with to grow. Maybe it's a business venture, maybe you're writing a book, maybe you have a cause that's important to you or something that's new that you're releasing and talking about. So just wanted to go around and give everybody an opportunity to do that. Let's start at the top of my screen here with Jill.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Jill.
I'm Jill Valerie Boyd. I yield from Albany, New York.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I'm thrilled to be here. Cheryl knows I was out of commission for a while. I had 2 slip discs, so you can see my support here, my pillow. I'm out and about. It's great. So talking about COVID, I'm a teacher, I'm a stylist, I'm an author. I've had many different careers as a nurse, as addiction counselor, HR professional, varied background. And it all came together when I decided I was going to have fun because I've been working like all of you at an early age. So I love fashion, I love styling. But what happened was during COVID, I couldn't teach. All the classes that I had taught were stopped. And do you know what? Nobody dressed up. Women were wearing the same outfit at home, days on end. I don't know about the guys, but I certainly talked to a lot of women. The priorities changed. You know, women used to take pride in looking finished, looking finished together. They would go out and dress up. And that became the lowest priority because there was the fear out there. And they didn't want to spend any money because they didn't know what was going to happen. So consumerism stopped. People stopped putting on makeup, stopped dressing up, no socialization. They had no place to go. And so it impacted my business. I do lots of styling and fashion and colors and helping people with headshots. And it was nothing happened. And it took its toll on me because I missed everybody. I missed working with people, and the isolation is not good. And I realized how stressful it was. So even though I had written my book, it's called Ageless and Iconic, Looking Fabulous at Any Age. Even people stopped buying the book because they had no reason to read the book. So to me, it's like, as an entrepreneur, thank you, Jay, for your talk. Very inspiring. It's like starting again. And I have multiple streams of income. I know, Cheryl, you talked about that. And that's really important when we go through periods where maybe our creativity has stopped and we need to go in a different direction. Like I said, I was on, this is my third Zoom today. Most of the day I was on Zoom. I'm on a panel for addicted nurses, dentists, and other professions. And we do a panel, it's called the Professional Assistance Program. Because I was an addictions counselor and an addictions nurse, I understand what people are going through. And let me tell you, if you know of any RN, any professional that needs help, there is so much help out there. And I'm not talking about recovery programs. I'm talking about just support. And we all know about the epidemic of opioids and other harmful drugs. So it was very gratifying for me to sit on the panel today. And so my business is one aspect. The panel, being a member of the panel, is another aspect. So I think we need to look at our life, look at all our life experiences, and be able to change and be able to adapt ourselves, not only to the changes that are taking place, what's coming down the pike, but understanding that sometimes the fear behind loss of control, we really don't have to fear. We need to pull in and on our own resiliency. And most of the members here, I'm sure, have wonderful life experiences. And that's a lesson. I think COVID has taught us so many lessons. And if we can share it, we can talk about it. It's nothing to be afraid of. And I hope that you've been open to think about being vaccinated. If not, I have loads of nursing friends that won't get vaccinated. It's an individual choice. But the bottom line is take care of yourselves, take care of your family, and maybe we can get back to networking, get out there, make more friends, lift everybody's spirit up. I think that's really important. That's what we do. We share ourselves. And thank you, Cheryl. Always thank you for inviting me and holding these sessions. So I want to hear from other people. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks for the insight and perspective. Let's see, let's go to Patricia. Patricia, are you here?
I am. Did you hear that?
We did hear it.
Just had a moment. Just had a moment. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you all. Let's see, something y'all don't know. Well, we'll start with what you do know. I teach middle school science, and I am your local Tupperware lady, taking care of all your Tupper needs. We're more than just bowls. Something that you may not know is that I teach environmental science, and it actually connects to my Tupper life. The company does amazing things for sustainability, both within the company and beyond. They are currently in partnership with the national parks and doing great things, and don't run around patting themselves on the back. They just do the work. And that's something that that really resonates with me. Something else you might not know is that as part of an offshoot of being an educator, I also do social justice work with educators and train educators, not people in nonprofits, even the military, over the summer to become equity and justice leaders in their own organizations through peer moderated facilitation. So I really appreciate Cheryl offering the space to build relationships, because Tupperware and my social justice work are all about relationships. And if COVID has taught us anything, thank you, Jill, for all of your words, is that relationships are indeed at the core of making progress, moving forward, both interpersonally with the folks in our lives, within our community, all the way to nationally and globally. Without those relationships, folks going out for self, we're all just doomed to fail. So I appreciate the time and say thank you.
You're welcome. And is there anything that we can do to help support you?
Well, if you know anyone who's looking to redesign a kitchen, or you're really stuck on a great gift idea that is actually something that lasts a lifetime, I'm here to support. We also offer fundraisers for organizations that are looking to make some
Fundraise?
to fundraise. Yeah. It's late. I know Jill's been on 3 Zoom calls. This might be my 7th for today, because we're teaching in school, but we also have students at home, and then meetings and the whatnot. And I start running out of words. You know, my pumpkin is approaching, where I start slurring, and no alcohol involved. And so if you're just looking to collaborate, or looking to fundraise, or looking for someone to bounce ideas off of, I'm always happy to be that person.
And I think definitely, I know Christine and Maria haven't spoken yet, but just keeping in mind the whole healthy wellness. I know, Maria, you have a group you'll probably mention, and Christine, your site that you'll mention, just kind of all tie in together. So make sure all you guys are in touch and keeping connected.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks, Patricia. All right. On that note, Christine, if you want to tell us what you've been up to.
Hi, everyone. First, I'm so sad. I'm so sorry, Jay, that I missed your most of the presentation. I was having a really difficult time getting online. I just put Norton antivirus on my laptop, and it's been a nightmare. I cannot seem to get into my internet. So I'm going to definitely check out your show. Sounds really interesting. My name's Christine. I am a mom of 3 young adults. And because I missed my little one so much, I'm now a teacher aide with 21 little kindergartners. So that's how I spend most of my day. And I really enjoy being in the school. We're very fortunate. We've been in full time since the beginning of the school year. So that's been really nice. And I can't believe we made it all the way to May. And it looks like we're going to make it through the entire school year in school. So that's great for them. And it's been really nice to get out of the house. 2020 was not fun being stuck at home all that time. But so I don't know how much you guys know about me, but I don't know what to say about what you don't know about me. But yeah, so, but well, the last 4 years, I guess, I've been on a really serious journey of getting my health back. I had been borderline pre-diabetic, high blood pressure, 80 pounds heavier than I am now. And a lot of people started watching my journey. I really love to cook, so I started posting all pictures of the food that I cook and finding more healthier alternatives on the way to make things that I love to eat, and finding new ingredients and having fun with almond flour and cauliflower and all that good stuff. But people started asking me for the recipes, and every time they'd ask me for a recipe, I'd be like, okay, was that in my cookbook? Was that on my computer? Did I print out the online paper? And finally, I decided that I wanted to develop a website where I could archive all those recipes and keep them in one place. This way, if I was looking for them, it was an easy go-to. If somebody asked me for a recipe, it was an easy go-to. So I started that a few years ago. Couldn't get out of my own way because I'm a perfectionist and wanted everything to be exactly the way I wanted it to be. And, but I finally launched it. I'm so excited. So I launched it last week. It's called For the Love of Garlic, because I absolutely love garlic, but garlic is not in every recipe, but I do love garlic. And I'm really excited about it. I'm kind of just want to, I want it to grow organically, however it's meant to grow. So right now, for me, it's just a great place for me to archive all my recipes. I have helped I've helped a handful of people on their journey now to get healthy and you know, get their health back and lose weight and stuff like that. I've been a consultant with a company called Arbonne for the last 14 years. They have really great vegan, plant-based nutritional line that I use to support my my journey. So that has been, you know, something too. And I've grown my business different levels at different times in my life. But I really do believe in the company, and I believe in the philosophy and the products that you know, they're really great products too. So, you know, tying that in some way as well. But right now I'm just kind of like playing around. I'm excited that it's finally out there. It wasn't perfect, but I got over being perfect, and I still have a little kinks here and there, but yeah. So I don't know. That's what's going on with me.
Super happy that finally that launched. Make sure you drop the link in the chat. And is there anything that we can do to support you?
Oh, just, you know, if you take a look and you like it and you want to share with some other people, that would be great. Thanks.
Awesome. Congratulations on getting that launched. I'm so
Thank
happy.
you. It's a long thank you for all your help. Oh, Cheryl's heard me multiple times for chats on the beach, chats over the phone. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, relationships.
Yes, definitely.
It's all about relationships.
Yeah.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank you.
And I guess we'll flow into Maria, because I'm curious to hear about your Facebook group, Maria, that you started related to food, cooking. Oh, you're on mute.
Yes, I guess you could say that's my latest venture. That's my main venture, of course, is my fashion line. Just like Joe, during the pandemic, my fashion line really struggled and suffered a lot. So what I did was I started a Facebook group called Savvy and Chic Beyond 50. And I concentrated mainly on other women, you know, over 50 that struggles with that time of their life. And they struggle with their confidence and image. And I wanted to introduce ways of confidence and empowerment, and just, you know, in fashion, that they will look great in anything, like in my styles. And it's been really successful. I mean, in just a few months, I'm almost up to 300 members. Wow. And I like to support women that's in art, that's in literature, and very diverse, Latinas, white, Blacks. You know, I wanted to really make the group really united and to build those relationships. And it's amazing the friendship that have developed in that group, because I've put my heart into it, and I wanted to just feed it with what women really need. And so that's that. And then a friend introduced me, then since I've been in a vegan diet, you know, the organic natural food stuff has been fantastic. I've lost a lot of weight with it. And a friend introduced me to this Canadian company that has this natural organic meal solutions, which is the other group I just started. And which is great. I mean, you could make a meal in 20 minutes with these herbs that you just put in. You add the meat, whatever, the pasta, and you have a meal in less than 20 minutes. That's healthy and it doesn't have additives and all these preservatives. It's just great. So I started that. It's called Maria Cardet's virtual cooking class. But it introduces, the company is called Epicure, which introduces the meal solutions. And they have steamers, they have also appliances to go with the cooking, which is really great. So I guess, what you could help is to come into, check out the group. And I'm going to be doing cooking classes and segments. So that should be fun with campaigns, and so people could win stuff, which is always great, which I've done also in the Savvy and Chic Beyond 50, which is probably why it's grown, because I make it very, just for people to unite and engage them, and they just get involved. So that's really the secret of, like Jay say, is creating relationships. And that's how you do it. You just have to engage people and get involved and feedback. That's how, then they understand that they're being listened to and that you care. And then just not out there alone. So so that's mainly what I'm involved with now. And it helped my business, my fashion business, because ironically, during the pandemic, nothing was happening. And with the group, because I pop in fashions, I made sales. They love, they say, oh, I love that. And they buy it, which is great. But my other third motivation and my new love is the sustainability of fashion, how to fix fashion, because America, we buy so much fashion, we throw away so many clothes, and it ends up in incinerations and it ends up in landfills. And that's like the project now I'm doing is refashioning. I'm taking clothes, people that have stuff in their closets, and I want to train them how you could refashion your clothes. You could either refashion them for yourself, or you could sell them and make money. You could take a simple t-shirt and add some, lace, add some, materials and ruffles, and you got a new fashion, and you could sell it on. And you don't have to buy clothes. You just make your own. And it kind of empowers women also, that they have a new purpose. And they don't have, especially if you're economically challenged. So that's my new venture that I'm starting right now. That I'm starting on. So thank you for listening. That I would love that support. I'll probably be feeding it out there to the networks, and hopefully you guys get to see it.
Absolutely. Make sure you put some of the links to the groups in the chat. I think most people here are on Facebook. And I just want to say, every single time we had, we have these events and we go around, there's just such a recurring theme of everybody is in some sort of business or cause that is all about helping other people. And it's just great. I love it. All right, thanks, Maria. Make sure you put that in the chat. Next, Carol. Carol, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I don't know, some of you may recognize Carol from many years back with the network stuff.
Yes, many years back when we did face-to-face meetings. Cheryl, I know you and I know Patricia, and the other names are new to me, so I will introduce myself. I'm Carol Vinci. The name of my company is Productivity Tools and Insights, and I work with business owners to help them hire, whether it's a virtual assistant, their first part-time or full-time employee, or any companies that are looking to add significantly to the number of staff that they have. So a referral would be a company that, even if they have existing employees, what is a new trend is blind interviews. If any of you are classical music fans, you have noticed a dramatic increase in the number of female musicians in classical orchestras. And that didn't happen by accident. They've decided that they do interviews behind screens and the women don't wear high heels. So they get evaluated on their talent. and not to support the old boys network where orchestras were lucky if they had 1 or 2 female players. And now there are at least 10 or 15% of the classical orchestra musicians are women, which is a dramatic increase. The way that applies to the business world is that very often there are managers who are holding on to their good employees and not providing promotional opportunities because they make the manager look good. And after a couple of years of not getting promoted, those top performers go work someplace else. So the company is losing that talent. And via some assessment tools that are online, without letting either the manager or the employee know, we can look at the person's talents and see if they would be appropriate for either a promotion or a role in another part of the business which supports their growth. 2 weeks ago, I was one of the authors in one of these, chapter. Everybody writes a chapter. So if you would like to support us, the website is, put it in the chat when I finish speaking, but it's the lawofbrandattraction.com. And it talks about the transition from both women and men, from their challenges and struggles to their new view of themselves. So in some of the stories are very specific about sexual abuse and some of the topics that were discussed earlier in terms of the pandemic, but it existed long before the pandemic. I think it's just getting probably more publicity. In my particular story, I talk about self-branding myself as stupid in first grade because of my struggles and challenges with phonics. I'm both dyslexic and ADD, attention deficit disorder. And while that sounds like a simple statement, when I was able to make that statement, I was also able to recognize the strengths that I have that are the result of those particular challenges, and acknowledge the success I had both in my corporate career and as an entrepreneur. I actually was an entrepreneur. I started my first business at 16, teaching piano lessons to younger children to pay for my college education. So I did that for 6 years, from a junior in high school through graduating from college. And I grew that business from 3 students to 13 students. And in sophomore year in college, with 22 credits in physics that I struggled with, I had 13 students that I taught. But I was driven because my father didn't think I was worthy of a college education. I had to pay for it myself. But it's that determination that has kept me going. While I work with startup and small businesses, my passion is to significantly increase the amount of money that gets invested in women-run businesses. So what I'm looking for is businesses that, women-run businesses that want to accelerate their growth, whether they target being public companies or not, but are looking for outside investors, whether they be angel investors or typical venture capital money. And in the chapter that I wrote in the book, I talk about Kevin O'Leary, who's one of the Shark Tank judges, called Mr. Wonderful. He was at a conference a couple of years ago where he brought 3 of the companies that he invested in, and they were all women run. And he said that he makes much more money investing in women run businesses because we have the tenacity to stick with it, where the guys will throw something up against the wall. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, they're off to the next one without any commitment to making it a success. And that story is not well known. So I'm really interested in supporting women-run businesses. I started in the IT field when the only role for women was secretary, administration, or programmer. And programming was not an option because of my dyslexia. Left to right and right to left mean absolutely nothing to me. Jill, I don't have makeup on. I've been on Zoom calls since 2 this morning with a slight nap in between, and I don't have my good lighting, but I am interested in one of the books that I am in the process of writing is about employee theft. So when you talked about the drug problem in the medical field, if you have any stories, be anonymous. I'm still looking to collect some more stories about employee theft and the impact that it has on business. Thank you. If you have any questions, as I said, I will put the link to order the book. We're actually a #1 international book seller in the small business category and hot new deals. And it's still available on Kindle for 99 cents. And the hard copy will be coming out in the next week or so.
Wow, that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it's definitely great to have that focus also on supporting businesses. I know Jay put a note in there that he had a client that ate, so he had to jump off. So that means I can say we're now all women here right now. So thank you very much for everything that you do to support women, to everybody here. You know, I think, again, everybody here is all doing things to help others. And I think it's wonderful. Thanks, Carol. Make sure you put the information in the chat.
I will. Thank you.
And we're very glad to have you back. Lynn, you're up.
Okay, let me unmute.
We heard you. Nope, you just put yourself on mute now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lynn Artisona, and I like to think of myself as a multipreneur. I run several businesses from home, some that I've created, some were created for me. I'm a Mary Kay consultant and have been for the past 2 years. During the pandemic, things changed quite a bit, but the company focused on doing things online, and it brought things back up. And also the focus was on keeping yourself healthy, taking care of yourself, taking care of your skin, your body, as opposed to makeup and other products that during the pandemic, ladies were not using. So we're giving this spa experience to anyone who would like it. We do it virtually, and the market is opening up for events with a monthly theme. A lot of the proceeds are going now to Lupus Foundation. We just had an event for autism. Also, proceeds from our sales went to the organization. And every month we try to have a different theme, all focused on family and different causes. And Mary Kay is also a big leader in domestic violence. We give to domestic violence. And there's also another organization that I belong to. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's called Zanta. It's been around for more than 80 years. This is an organization that supports women in crisis, women and children with trafficking and domestic violence. There are chapters all over the world. It's an international group. So if you get a chance, look it up, Zanta Inc., okay? A lot of good information, and they share.
Make sure you put it in the chat, Lynn.
Okay, I will. Also, during the pandemic, and it was just a fluke for, I started making pillows. I started with Frida Kahlo, a lot of Frida Kahlo fans. So I did a limited edition. They sold like hotcakes. And then came the special causes. Autism, I made pillows for autism. They sold like hotcakes. Now, Mother's Day is coming up, teacher appreciation, and they're reasonably priced. And all the money's part of the monies that I make from the pillows goes back to, like I said before, organizations that support women, okay, in different ways. I try to keep them very reasonable. They run for anywhere from $15 to $35. I'm running a sale for the holidays, for Mother's Day, Teachers Appreciation Day, and I think there's one more that I'm forgetting what it is. I've been able to help a lot of women feel better about themselves, and that to me is very, very important, especially now during the pandemic. So you don't need a lip gloss to go out the door, because none of us were going out the door. We were staying home. So instead, take care of yourselves, take care of your skin. The skin runs your whole body. It's the biggest organ that we have. So we can do it and take care of ourselves that way. Bless you, Christine. Running different streams of income is helping me learn a lot of things, because I want to retire from corporate America. I'm still working part-time for a nonprofit organization. I'm a housing specialist. I take care of problems that tenants have, especially now during this pandemic, where people have lost jobs, they have no money to pay their rent. It's been extended now, the moratorium, till the end of June. We're looking to see if it's going to be extended even further, because there's not enough money coming in so that it can be distributed to help people. I mean, what the government has given has been a drop in the bucket, but there are organizations where they can apply to get help, at least some help. So I'm looking to retire from that at the end of the year, if they'll allow me, because they're not allowing me to do anything lately, but keep working. The service is very important to the communities in New York City, mainly in the Bronx. So with that, all I can say is keep taking care of yourself, put a smile on your face, and feel good about yourself. It's important. And I'm here to help you if you need me.
Thanks, Lynn. I learned a couple of new things there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you put your info in the chat.
Okay.
I know Tanya had to take a call, so she put her information in the chat. Monica, Lourdes, and Kim had to jump off. Some of them put information in the chat. Like we were saying earlier, it's been such a crazy, hectic week. So I absolutely appreciate everybody taking the time to join us here this evening and attend and network and connect and reconnect. And is there anything anyone wanted to add before we wrap things up?
I wanted to ask Lynn.
Yes.
Do you still make the Frida Kahlo pillows?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because I'm a big fan of hers.
Oh,
So
I can send you some pictures. You can find me on Facebook.
Can you put it in the chat? How I could find you on Facebook?
Yeah, not a problem.
Why
Okay,
don't
great.
you, that's a reminder too for, I think most of the people here are members. So you have access to that group on Facebook where you can post all of these things. So anything that you're working on, you are free to post and share, and make sure that you utilize that so that we can keep up to date with what everybody's doing. But
Okay.
definitely drop it in here as well, so that everybody here can see what you're doing. But yeah, I think this is why these things are so important, because, you know, we see each other on social media in passing so much, but there's even so much overwhelm there sometimes that it's hard to even know without talking and having a conversation what people are really doing.
Right.
Exactly.
Because I didn't know that either, Lynn.
What, the Frida Kahlo pillows?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been doing that for a while now.
No
A
clue.
limited edition. I try to make everyone, I try to make each one different.
Oh, so you could customize them? I mean,
Yes,
with
I customize
colors?
them. Mhm.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Thank you for asking.
I don't know, Tanya, if you're able to hear us, if you're still on another call, if you wanted to say anything, or anybody else who had anything left to add. Lynn, are you adding something to the chat?
Yeah, I am.
Cheryl, are there any upcoming events that you'd like to share or that we could look forward to?
You know, what I will mention is more ideas for events, to, you know, what we should be doing on a monthly basis. I think we've had, you know, different themes every month going so far. I'm deciding whether or not I want to do an anniversary event for the networks. This is the 15th year since we started. So I'm kind of torn between doing something virtually or waiting until we're able to do something in person for the 15th anniversary, and also deciding if I want to do a Journey of Success event online or not. But that's, you know, everybody's input. We're all here to collaborate and help each other. So I really don't consider any of these things to be just a decision that I make. It's something that we all collaborate on together, and it's what you want, what you think we need, what will help you, what people that you are meeting need. And just, you know, talk and collaborate and keep going onward and upward. All right, I see you added the information, Zonta Inc. into the chat.
Yeah.
And of course, as usual, if there's anything after here that you can't get in contact with somebody or need information, I always save the chats. And can get in contact with anyone if for whatever reason you can't reach them after any of our calls, or you see something on social media and you want to get in touch with somebody, feel free to reach out and I can help make the connection. And there's your email, Lynn.
Yeah, my email. You can reach me on my email, Maria, or anyone else who's interested.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. It was great to see you. We have a new face this evening. Welcome back, Carol. All right, you have a wonderful evening, everyone. It was great to see you.
Thank you.
Great to see everybody too. Have a great night. Have a lovely
Bye-bye.
evening.
Bye, everyone.